Hello, this is Christy. Welcome to another video. Today is going to be a short one and I'm going to walk you through how to remove green screen from a video recording in Camtasia. Camtasia allows you to record video with your webcam and your screen. So if you record your webcam with a green screen behind you or with a blue screen, depending on your equipment, then it allows you to remove that color and make your background transparent, sort of like Zoom does it. But this is based on a color, and this effect is usually named like chroma key or green screen or whatever you want to call it. It means removing a color from your video so that all the other colors remain, and the color that you remove becomes an alpha channel, becomes a transparent background so you can see through. And this is very useful if you want to superimpose yourself on another background. So when you're doing tutorial videos like this one right here, you can see that I have no background behind me, but a plain background or the background of the screen that you see through, and you see me in the corner or one side, but it actually around me, everything is removed. So this is achieved with this effect, chroma key or green screen. And funnily enough, in Camtasia, it's not called any of those names. It has a different name. So let me show you how to do it. I have a video here from my friend Chris Menard, and I was just editing his video yesterday and I realized that his lighting was so nice and I could do a video showing you how to remove the green screen. So I have his video here on the media bin. I'm going to pull this one onto the timeline down here, and I'm going to mute the audio because I don't want this audio right now. So as you can see, Chris is recording with a green background. It's probably a cloth or a wall painted green like I have in my office. So this allows you to then single out this color, this green, in Camtasia and make it go away. There are a few requirements for this to work. Obviously, you need to have good lighting because your background needs to be evenly lit, and you need to be lit as well. But usually that you achieve that with one or two lights, but preferably two lights at least. And your background needs to be uniform, because if it's not uniform, you can remove one part of it, but then the rest of it is not gonna, it's not gonna fit in the tolerance. So then you're gonna have a part of it that's not removed. And obviously that's not good. And also a requirement is that you wear clothing that is different from that background. So if you wear green clothes, obviously your clothes are going to be removed and you're going to kind of see through all the way. And let me show you now how to remove this. So I have imported this video onto my timeline and I want to remove this green around here. So the way to do that is obviously you need to place your video on top of a background here that is neutral or dark. Like you see, I have just this video on my timeline, nothing else. So the effect is called Remove a Color. You find it in Camtasia if you go to Visual Effects and you scroll down, and this is the one here, Remove a Color. And all you have to do is just drag this effect onto your video clip. First of all, drag it down here, and you can see in the Properties panel, press this button if you don't see it. In the Properties panel, you have applied this Remove a Color effect to this video clip. If you don't see it, you need to click that clip to make sure it's selected, and then you see the effect. But the green screen hasn't disappeared yet. The reason is I have to tell it which color is the green or blue or whatever I want to remove. So, for example, you have to click on this color picker and choose the color picker here to select the color from your video clip. So in my case, I'm going to click on this and choose the green color from around here. And one tip I have for you is you should try and choose a color as close as possible to your subject, because then that's going to be the color that's closest to the sort of the boundary area between your subject and the background. And usually, and many times it happens that if the light bounces off your wall or your green screen onto your shoulders, onto the shoulders of your subject, then you get that green sort of reflection or color bounce. It's called green spill, I suppose. And that is very hard to remove. And there are some adjustments in Camtasia to help with that, but they're not so good. So I'm hoping in future versions, Camtasia is going to have an improved effect like this. But until then, we have to make do. So if it helps, zoom in to somewhere around here where your subject is kind of, you can see the background and your subject. And choose this color picker. And then hover. You can see the hovering over the video here is showing me the value of that color on the color picker. So what I do is I click somewhere very close to my subject. So one click, and now it's selected the green, but you can see there is this green sort of outline because the tolerance is quite low. So if I zoom out again, you can see now Chris is actually on the black background now, but I still see this green around it. So I need to fix that. So the first thing to do is use the tolerance slider here and push it up or down until the green disappears all the way. You can see it right there. So this is almost a perfect green screen removal. Now, let me show you what happens if you go too high. So I'm going to use an annotation shape here, and I'm going to just apply a fake background. So this time I'm going to make this one white, and I'm going to actually make it as a background track like this. So you can see now, of course, I've replaced the background and it's white. But if you go too much on the tolerance, click again on your video clip, you can see now, look, it's disappearing now. This means your tolerance is too high. So what I do is, if I want to make sure I'm not even doing this too much, I'm not removing too much color, I can place my cursor inside of this field here where it says tolerance, and you can use your up and down arrow, see, one increment at a time until, and usually you watch the edges, right? So I'm going to look at the areas where it's very likely that the white is going to start to bleed in. So clicking inside and using the arrow, you see around the color, it's already starting to be white. So just press up or down until there is a very, very sharp outline and you don't start to see sort of the white or the background eating into your subject. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm very happy with the value, 30% here. Obviously, it's going to be different for you, depending on the color of your green screen, but I'm quite happy now. And you can see now I can actually move Chris around. I can resize. I can put him on any background I want. If I want the background to be a different color, just select the background and just make it red or whatever. And you can see usually on darker backgrounds whether the green screen has been removed successfully. And there are other adjustments here like softness. So the softness will reduce the sort of blur the edges of the color that remains. After you've removed the green screen, after you've tweaked the tolerance, then you tweak the softness to just make sure that there's no jagged edges or something like that around. So again, this one might be something you want to do zoomed in to some very vulnerable, very areas where you might be having candidates for like bleed or a different color. And also these hue and defringe, you need to just play with them next. So there's a reason why these sliders are in this order, because you should be starting from the top, first of all specifying the color, then use the tolerance, and if those don't do the trick, then you go to the softness, the hue, and all those, and try and adjust them to remove any artifacts. So this is kind of how you remove the green screen. It's funny that it's not called green screen removal or chroma key. I don't know if there's any copyrights on those words, but anyway, visual effects, remove a color, and it doesn't have to be green. If you have a blue screen, sometimes you've got a blue screen or maybe any type of color. You can remove a color with a bit of tolerance from your video. You can use it to achieve other effects if you want. So this is how you remove the green screen from your subject in Camtasia. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any comments or questions. And if you found this video useful, please like it and subscribe. And I will see you on the next one.